The content of this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the guidance of your healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your mental or physical health. The views expressed are those of the host and guests and do not replace personalized care from a licensed professional.
Welcome to Mindful Moments with Pedro Morante, a space where a nurse practitioner and educator shares real talk on mental wellness, mindfulness, and navigating life in and out of healthcare. Let's take a moment to breathe, reflect, and grow together.
Welcome back to Mindful Moments with Pedro Morante. If you've ever dreamed of building a therapy practice that doesn't chain you to one office, one schedule, or one version of burnout, today's episode is absolutely for you. Our guest today is Ms. Kym Tolson, a therapist, a consultant, educator, and the founder of The Traveling Therapist. Kym has imagined what's possible in private practice by combining clinical expertise, technology, and freedom design. She helps therapists create portable, sustainable practices that can literally travel with them without sacrificing ethical care or quality client outcomes. In this episode, we're diving into the intersection of freedom, AI, and therapy, and how therapists can reclaim their time, prevent burnout, and build practices that support the lives they actually want to live. Whether you're curious about using AI in your practice, dreaming of working remotely, or just looking for smarter systems to lighten your load, this conversation is for you, with insights and practical takeaways. So let's get into it. Once again, welcome Ms. Kym Tolson in the house with Mindful Moments. Yes. So
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Your busy schedule. I know that you have so much things going on too, and you made time for me, and I appreciate that.
You. Thanks for inviting me.
So to start us off, can you tell us a little about yourself and journey as a therapist, consultant, and as a digital nomad?
Yeah, so I'm Kym Tolson. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm also known as the traveling therapist. So it really started because I decided to become a digital nomad, and I live in Airbnbs with my boyfriend. And along the way, I was like, how am I going to work? How am I going to make money? How am I going to see my clients? So that evolved into the traveling therapist, where I created, courses and a Facebook group and a podcast to basically teach other therapists how to do the same thing that I'm doing, how to be a traveling therapist, live in Airbnbs or live in a different country. However you want to do it, you can do it. It's just, you've got to kind of get creative with it. So that's where I come in to help therapists learn how to do that. And then AI, I'm obsessed with AI. So of course, naturally, I love to talk about how to incorporate AI systems into the process to make your life easier. So when you actually get to these places you're traveling to, you can enjoy them and you're not locked into that one-to-one model and just having to sit and see 40 clients a week. Instead, you can have really good AI workflows, see less clients, and be able to enjoy the places that you're traveling to. Yeah.
That's like a dream job, Miss Kym Tolson. For those who are tuning in to my podcast, I think that's something that excites them. So for this particular avenue that you took, and for therapists that are feeling intimidated by technology, what's a simple step you can advise them on how to integrate AI into their work?
Yeah, so I get this question all the time. A system that I teach is do a time study first. So maybe take a week, start a spreadsheet. I've got tools for this already, but time study tools. Basically record every 15 minutes of your life for a week. Keep track of it and look at where your biggest time sucks are. Where are you just spending so much time? Are you just scrolling Instagram too much, or marketing is taking too long, that sort of thing. So really do a deep dive into where you're wasting a lot of time. And then we can figure out which AI tool to sort of start diving into to help solve that one little teeny problem. Because I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with all the tools. Every day there's new tools coming out, AI tools that are going to like fix your whole life. But I really do suggest starting with the time suck and then figure out the best tool to fix that. And then sort of like dip your toe in, especially if you're brand new to AI, dip your toe in a little bit and just observe, like, is it actually saving you time? Is it making your life easier, or are you spending more time trying to figure out the tool? But once you find the one that solves the problem and makes your life easier, then you can like turn that into a workflow. Like, how can I integrate this into my life to make it a workflow that's going to actually help me live a better, more efficient life? Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that. And a lot of psych nurse practitioners out there and also therapists can really relate and feel the tension about undergoing burnout. So it's really important to have a good time management,
Yeah.
especially to last in this profession, right? We will last long if we don't feel those episodes of burning out from our profession.
Exactly. And there's a recent study that was basically talking about like 89% of us are burnt out. And when they did a deep dive into why, it's a lot of it was clinical documentation, which part of what I do is I am the clinical consultant for product development for a company called Berries, heyberries.com, if you guys want to check it out. But that's a huge time suck for clinicians, nurse practitioners, therapists, like just trying to do, I don't know what nurse practitioners call it, but treatment plans and progress notes and, assessments and writing letters to collaterals, all of that. If for us in our professional world, if you're going to start anywhere, I would say find an AI note scribe that can do all of that for you and just start playing around with it, because that really is going to like save you professionally from burnout and having to do all that administrative stuff that I think the study said 12 to 15 hours a week of just clinical documentation that um, professionals were saving by using a note scribe.
And that's like game changer, especially some providers are spending so much time, charting or even like spending their administrative time documenting and adding notes and stuff like that. Wherein we can focus more on delivering patient direction and also patient education.
Absolutely. Yes. And with berries, and I know maybe some of the other ones do it too, but with berries, after you finish your note, there's a button you click and it's like you can send a note to your client that summarizes the session. You can even like click another button that generates a homework assignment for them based on the session you just had. And you just click the button and it just literally sends it to them through the secure portal and you're done, which is amazing to me. Yeah.
Wow, that's really important for our followers to be able to also experience that. And
Mhm.
as a Berries ambassador too, we want to make sure
Yeah.
that this platform is reached by other audience too. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not trying to like sell berries, but it is life changing. So since you asked, that is the number one tool I would recommend for providers, really, to get your toes wet with AI in our like business lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you're a new grad or starting with this profession and you're feeling overwhelmed or you're not managing your time correctly, I think you need some tool to make your life easier, like working smarter. And
Absolutely.
yeah. Now, tell us about your portable practice method. What is this and how does it help therapists build flexibility in their work?
So the portable practice method, this is my signature course. I'm a creator. I love creating stuff, but I've been a digital nomad for like 4.5 years now, and I think I've run into every problem you could possibly have trying to be a digital nomad with a portable practice. So this course is sort of the everything I've been through culminated into one thing to help anybody else that wants to do it just like seamlessly hop into the lifestyle. And it really is three main components to it. And the first is like licensure regulations, liability insurance regulations. If you're an insurance-based provider, like how are you going to navigate all of that? And then the second part of it is how do I make great money? And so I don't have to just be stuck in this one-to-one model and broke and not being able to like explore the world if I want to. So that part focuses on like a lot of scaling. Like myself, I've got 15 income streams that I've developed that all bring money in for me. So part of that course is just teaching therapists how to really use AI to help them scale out of that one-to-one model and create offers and products to help them make more money so they can see less one-to-one and help more people and still be able to live the life that they want to live. And then the last section of it is like all the logistics stuff that trips people up. Like how do I manage a time zone? If my clients are all in Virginia and I'm sitting in, Thailand, how am I still going to see them? Like, how am I going to manage that time zone? So that's a huge thing that comes up. So there's a ton of just sort of logistical options, basically solutions for you in that last part of the course. So I put all that together into this one massive course to help therapists that are it's so daunting to think about all those pieces. So a lot of people don't do it. And I didn't want that. So I was like, I need to create this thing that just makes it so easy that you could just hop in to each section that you need. And it's just going to make your life easier. And then you can be a traveling therapist with a portable practice. Yeah.
That's a dream job, and that's a great tool that you mentioned. So if there's like a
Yeah.
one-stop shop that I can go as a new grad therapist or psych nurse practitioner, definitely we could utilize that tool because I think you're giving them like the blueprint and also the tools in order for them to be successful and build and grow their practice.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you.
Now, this is something that everybody can relate to, especially if you're starting your private practice. What are some challenges of running a practice from anywhere, and how do you overcome them?
There's so many. So, a lot of therapists are insurance based, at least in the United States. This is a little United States centric. But what's happening right now in the landscape, and you might be seeing it in the nurse practitioner world, is the insurance companies are starting to change their terms and conditions. And they're saying that the clinician has to be physically located in the state if they're delivering services, even if it's virtual telehealth. So it used to be, you could be sitting in, wherever, another country, and you could see your client. If your state licensure board allowed it, that could be another sticky situation. But if it allowed it, it was okay. But now we're getting all these other layers, and mainly it's insurance companies. And also a lot of like the VC backed companies like Alma, Headway, Grow, that a lot of therapists use to help do the credentialing and the billing so they don't have to. They also all have policies now that the clinician needs to be sitting in the United States. So part of the problem we solve in my course and just in the free traveling therapist Facebook group is how do I transition off of these insurance panels? How do I get private pay clients? So I'm not restricted anymore, so because that's a huge problem. If you have a whole caseload that's on an insurance panel that won't let you out of the state that you live in, you can't live this lifestyle. So that's a big thing that comes up. So trying to figure out a pathway to be able to do that internationally and still, help clients, because a lot of us accept insurance. One, so we don't have to market as much. It's easier to get clients if you can accept their insurance. And two, we want to help clients use their insurance. We want to serve that population. But this lifestyle particularly makes it really difficult to do that. So there's a lot of emphasis now on how do we manage this portable practice and also navigate things like that are restricting us from being able to live the life that we want to live. Yeah.
That's a game changer too, and we want to make sure that other providers are aware of that one. So if you're seeing a patient in United States, you need to be in the United States based from the insurances. And now you're telling us that you could actually do some sliding scale or private pay patients, and then you can actually see them anywhere in the world. Is that correct?
Yeah. Now I should emphasize not all insurance companies have this policy yet, but it's trending. It's starting with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we're starting to see it trend to some other places. So yes, but there are really creative ways to get around that. And like you said, sliding scales, offering a super bill, you can do that. And teaching the clients how to check their out-of-network benefits or using some of these companies that can help with out-of-network benefits. I hate to say this, but some people do switch to coaching instead of using their license and insurance to sort of navigate that a little bit. And we talk a lot about that in the course and also in the free Facebook group, like how do I navigate that to kind of get around all these restrictions. So there are ways to do it, but a lot of people get stumped because it just seems like insurmountable in a lot of ways to be able to do it with all these restrictions, but there are ways to do it. You just have to kind of get creative with it and work out a new plan to help you do it. Yeah.
That's well said. And basically, it gives an opportunity for those who are wanting to enter private practice in a non traditional way. And basically, innovations and telehealth had really made an immense opportunity for each one of us.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it has.
Now, can you share a memorable experience from working with clients while traveling? Maybe somewhere unexpected happens.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've got a lot of stories like this. Okay, so one time I was in Sedona, Arizona. The time zones are different, right? Because I'm licensed on the East Coast, right? So the Wi-Fi stopped working in the Airbnb. It just was not working, and I knew the public library had Wi-Fi that I could access from my car. So I was like, I'm gonna do, and it was like 6 a.m. where my first client was at 9, right? Because the time zones were different, so it was super early for me. I'm like not even awake yet. So I go up to this library. I'm in my car. I'm trying to set this whole thing up to be able to see my clients from the Wi-Fi with my VPN on for security, and it was a whole thing. But then it wouldn't work from the car. So I had to go sit on this like stone bench. It was freezing, 6 a.m. to see my clients. And then this like, I don't know what they were, right? They had been out partying all night, let's say. And they pull up in the parking lot. They pull out like boombox speakers out of their car. They're obviously on drugs. Like they've been partying all night. It's like 6 a.m. in the morning. And they start like a dance party in the parking lot where I'm trying to see my client through the library Wi-Fi at 6 a.m. in the morning. So that's a crazy example, but that actually did happen to me because I didn't want to cancel my clients, you know. So I was trying to make it work, but then I was just like, this is not good because you could just hear them like right there. So
Wow.
that's an
And
example.
but you still manage to see your patients well, so that's very impressive of you. And making
Yeah.
sure that, yeah, sometimes we could not control our environment. There are extenuating factors or circumstances that could hinder or could affect our connection with our patients. Particularly Wi-Fi is very big right now with telehealth, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. So that's Wi-Fi is a constant problematic thing, but yeah, that's how I navigated that particular situation.
Now, many therapists struggle with burnout. What are the early warning signs we should look out for, and how can this be prevented?
I think it's when you start like when you're an early clinician, right? It's so exciting and you're just excited to see your clients and it's like, "Oh my gosh, you see somebody's name on your list and you're going to see them next and it's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see them. I want to see how they're doing with their goals and their progress." When you start feeling like, "Oh," like when you have that feeling and you look at the list and you're like, "I literally don't know how I'm going to survive this day. I don't care what they're doing or how they're doing." When you start feeling like that, I think that's a big red flag that something's not working, that you're not happy, that you're burned out, that you're doing too much, that kind of thing. I definitely had that back in 2018 when I decided to go all online because I was taking like 8 weeks of vacation a year because I love to travel. So I would go on vacation, then I would come back and cram all my clients in and then rinse and repeat. So I was exhausted because I was seeing too many clients. And that's part of what prompted this whole lifestyle. It's like, how can I travel, work remotely and still have like this lifestyle where I'm not going to resent my clients or not want to see them or just not even care how they're doing. Um, so I feel like that's the key. So once you start feeling that way, you've got to then figure out, take a look at your lifestyle. Like what about the way I'm living this lifestyle or running my business is making me exhausted or burned out or not want to do this anymore. So taking a look there and then I with my students in the course, I start with like, let's do your lifestyle clarity like journey. Let's figure out like if the magic question. If I waved a magic wand today and said, you woke up tomorrow, what would your life look like? Like, let's look at that and then design your whole business around that, because it is possible. You just got to identify it first and then put everything in place to make it work for you. Yeah.
And I know that traveling is your passion. Can you tell us what ignite this? Did you ever dream about this since you were a child, or is your goal to travel all throughout the United States and all throughout the world? And how many countries you visited so far? Can you tell us more about
I
this?
haven't visited enough countries. I think I've been to 13, 14 countries. So I haven't been to that many. I do have a partner, and he works in IT and healthcare. So he's restricted about being able to go out of the country a lot. They want him to work in the country, even though he's remote. They don't want him out of the country. So that does restrict us a little bit. But we've been back and forth across the United States, I think 4 times. And we're already planning our next route for all the places we haven't hit yet. So that's really fun. And, because we have to stay in bounds with his work and what he does too. But what prompted it, I get bored really easy. I am not your like, I'm just going to like buy a house and live in the house and have an office that I go to every day and do the same thing every day. Like that is like the death of me. I can't do it. I just constantly am seeking like something new and different and adventure. And, I'm just that type of person. I always have been. So I think that's just part of my personality and why I do it, And of course, I've got a bucket list like so long of all the places I want to go before I die, or before I'm too old to be able to like really walk around and physically enjoy it. So
Thank you for sharing that. And that's very personal stories that you've shared. I think a lot of our followers are inspired also by what you do.
thank you.
Now, for tips that you can share, how can therapists or psychiatrist practitioners diversify income through digital products, membership, or other strategies?
Yeah, this is a big topic. I myself have 3 memberships. I have multiple courses. I run 3 podcasts. So it is possible to diversify in a lot of ways. What I always recommend when like a new therapist comes to me and says, I gotta scale, I gotta do something different, is let's take a look at what your niche is. Like, what is that thing that you love so much that you do every day? And also something that you feel like you could talk about for the next 10 years and never get exhausted with it. Like something you're so passionate about. For me, it's traveling and AI, like obsessed with that. I could talk to anybody about it all day long. But identifying those things, and then really AI is amazing because you could plug those into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, whichever one you like, plug those things in and say, help me create a digital product or resource that uses my skill set and who I am as a person. Help me come up with an idea that would be sellable and that my audience needs, basically. So my audience would be, whatever your niche is, whoever you work with, whoever your website says that you're trying to attract. And it's going to give you a bunch of ideas. And then ask the AI, how do I monetize this? How do I monetize it? And just have a conversation with the AI. It's amazing what it'll come up with. But start with that thing that you're so passionate about that you could talk about forever.
And the passion that fuels and drives you will come true, right? It shows
Absolutely.
naturally when you're passionate about certain things, everything will flow and money will flow too, as long as you are doing it with your full heart and intention, with
Exactly.
clear vision.
Exactly. Because I've seen a lot of people say, like, oh, I think this niche is the hot niche and I need to get into it. And they try to create products around it or, an audience around it. But you can tell when people don't care, when they're just like doing it for the money, so to speak, versus like, I'm so passionate. I don't care if I ever make $1 on this. It'd be nice if I did, but I just need you to know that you can do this because it's amazing. Yeah.
And that message usually strikes me too, because I think everybody um should know that it's not only the financial gain that we're really at. If we can change one life at a time, or we can touch lives of a person, then we're able to create that impact that is most lasting than any financial gain too.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Now, Miss Kim, a lot of listeners would love to hear this. What does freedom mean to you personally? And how do you balance work with exploring new places for you?
Yeah, so freedom to me is it really is that magic wand question. It's like if you could dream bigger than you've ever dreamed and live that life, that and then create a structure around it where you can make enough money to support it, that's freedom to me. Yeah, and I mean that's the bottom line. It's like live the life that you want to live and do it now, and figure out a way to supplement it or support it. That's pretty much what freedom is to me.
Very good. And I think a lot of our listeners would love to have number one of freedom of their time so they can spend more time with their family, especially if they have kids, freedom
Yeah.
to travel and freedom to do what they are passionate about. And we always hear the cliche like, oh, you travel while you're young because when you grow older, it's harder for you to explore more places. And I definitely agree with that too. Like, we have so much time right now, but some people will say, I don't have enough money to travel. But when they grow older, they get all this pension for 1K, but they don't have time to travel or they don't have
Exactly.
the energy, right?
Yeah. It's like, do it now. Figure out how to do it now. It is possible.
Awesome. And Miss Kim will guide you with that one. Now, any tips for therapists or psych nurse practitioners who want to transition from being overworked and underpaid to creating a more sustainable model?
Yeah. I mean, I think it starts with doing a deep dive into what you're doing right now. Like if you're not making enough money, kind of reverse engineering what you're doing. So starting again with that lifestyle goal, like how much money do I want to be making, right? And reverse engineering it backwards. Like, okay, maybe I'm an insurance-based provider and it's really limiting how much money I can make per client. Let me look let me look at my lowest paying insurance panels. Are these ones I can get off of and maybe just stay on the higher paying ones? So really taking a look at like what are the things that's holding you back from reaching those goals. If you could only make $100 per hour and you have to work 40 hours per week to make the living that you need, that's not working. That's not sustainable. So let's reverse engineer it. And you could use AI for this. Like say I want to reverse engineer my life to be more profitable or more successful or whatever. And go work through that process to see what you're doing now that's basically holding you back.
That's important. Identifying of what's holding you back, and those barriers can actually make make you plan for what will be your next goal in the next 5 to 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I love what you said about reverse engineering. I think we really need to have a self reflection and also make sure that we know our goals.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what makes it possible. Set the goal and then figure out how to make it happen.
Now, where can listeners learn more about you, Miss Kim, your courses, and your AI tools?
Yeah, probably the best place would be to go to my website, thetravelingtherapist.com. I do have a podcast called The Traveling Therapist. I have a podcast called Run Your Private Practice with AI. And I have a Facebook group by the same name. And I also have a Facebook group called The Traveling Therapist. So you can basically find me in any of those places and it'll lead back to my product suite to help you with anything you're trying to do.
So there you go, guys. Make sure to follow her and subscribe, and also make sure to send her a message if you have any questions about how to create a thriving practice using AI and with a traveling lifestyle. Now, any parting advice for therapists or nurse practitioners who wants to reclaim their time, travel, and still provide great care for their patient?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what we've already talked about, and that's identify your ultimate dream lifestyle goal, reverse engineer it so you can get there, incorporate AI to help you. It's going to make it a lot easier, and then go for it. And just remember, it's just totally possible. Anything you want to do, there is a way, there's a solution or a way to make it happen, and do it now before you're like 80 and try to use your 401k before you're too old to really enjoy the lifestyle that you want to live.
And be your own boss. Am I correct?
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's not for everybody, but yeah, if you could be your own boss and make your own rules and all of that, I think that's a very important step for sure.
Now, I have some fun and rapid fire questions here
Okay.
for this season. What's the most unusual Airbnb or city that you've worked from?
Ooh, unusual. Oh, I don't really go to, well, there was one Airbnb that we stayed one night in Roswell, New Mexico, that was all aliens. It was like an alien theme because, that's Roswell, New Mexico, where the Area 51 and all that. So that was very unusual. Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I want to stay here again. It was weird. It was like little aliens like hidden behind things. So that
Wow.
was strange.
Now, what is your favorite self-care ritual while traveling?
Yoga. I love I love trying to find local yoga. Like the place we're in right now, the local library has yoga for $5, and you can go 3 times a week and just go do yoga. It's a lot of really old people, but it's so fun. So I love doing yoga. I love just exploring a new city, like literally just pulling up at a parking spot and getting out and walking for like 5 hours with no map or anything like that. That's one of my favorite things. I always look for a farmer's market. I love a farmer's market. So that's, those are my big things when I get to a new city.
Everybody loves farmers market, right?
Right?
Yeah, we get a lot of treats and also a lot of products that are really good.
I know. It's
If
so
ever you're in
fun.
LA, we also have farmers market here.
Nice. I'll have to
Yeah.
check it out.
Now, if AI could do any part of your job tomorrow, what would you let it handle first?
Well, my treatment plans, my assessments, supervision, everything that Barry's does, that would be the first tool I would adopt as a therapist. I'm almost jealous sometimes that I didn't have that throughout my career, that all these newer therapists, it's like, oh, I just use AI to write my notes. That used to be the bane of my existence, like treatment plans and all of that. So definitely AI note scribe to take care of all your documentation needs. Yeah.
Yeah, AI will make your life easier and making sure that you last in this profession.
Hmm.
I
Absolutely.
definitely agree with you, Miss Kim. And now, if a patient is listening to this podcast or tuning into this one, and they feel like they want to end their life or they're struggling on the mental health, what will be your piece of advice for them, and what is your special message for them?
Oh, just, there's support out there, definitely. And there's, therapists like we were talking about that want to offer especially if you can't afford care or something like that, or care seems scarce based on your situation, reach out. Almost every city has got, a community level of care that they can help you get help, crisis centers in every city, call 988, all of that, reach out and get support. There's so many providers like us that want to help you out there.
And they are not alone with their mental health.
Exactly.
And we are here for them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
This has been such a powerful conversation around redefining success, sustainability, and freedom in private practice. Ms. Kim, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your journey, and such practical tool with us today. So once again, this has been Mindful Moments. Please be safe out there, and we're rooting for you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Mindful Moments with Pedro Morante. Be sure to follow the podcast so you'll never miss an episode. If you find value in our time together, leave a quick review. It helps more people discover the space we're creating. For updates and more reflections, follow us on social media. Until next time, take care.